I'm Dana Denha, and you're watching FYI. Life is a learning experience, and our local community college makes developing new skills and obtaining knowledge fun and unforgettable through their non-credit personal enrichment courses.
The Corporate Training and Lifelong Learning Department at Washtenaw Community College offers a variety of classes that meet a variety of people's interests. These are not classes that are college credit classes. These are classes that help to create meaningful experiences for the people in our community. We offer classes in 3 semesters: fall, winter, and spring, summer. Washtenaw Community College is the community's college. We have citizens that are interested in a wide variety of interests, and they invest in the college through the millage. So we want to make sure that we offer something for everyone so that everyone's needs are met. We have something for everybody. They're fun, they're interesting, and they're informative. And best of all, we have trainers that are passionate about teaching people skills and talents and bringing out the best in their abilities.
For more on Washtenaw Community College's non-credit personal enrichment courses, visit wccnet.edu. Stay tuned, and we'll be back with more in exactly 30 seconds. Ann Arbor is home to more than 160 parks with scenic views, places to play, and some top-notch facilities. See all that Bryant Community Center has to offer during this Park Peek. For 20 years, the Bryant Community Center has enhanced the quality of life in Ann Arbor. The facility is owned by the City of Ann Arbor's Parks Department and operated by Community Action Network, CAN, allowing the city to share its space, and in return, CAN provides community support. CAN partners with children, youth, and families from under-resourced Washtenaw County neighborhoods to create better futures for themselves and improve the communities in which they live. The Bryant Community Center hosts a food pantry, academic achievement, and life skill enrichment programs, in addition to a variety of other services for eligible families. The site is available for receptions, special events, and meetings. For more, visit a2gov.org/parks. The autumn winds have blown in, and with that means piles of leaves. Learn the best practices for fall cleanup in this month's City Roundup in 60.
Hi, I'm Jenny Petoskey, the City of Ann Arbor's Solid Waste Outreach and Compliance Specialist. The City of Ann Arbor is expanding services to help residents manage their seasonal leaves for 2023. Until December 15th, residents will be able to set out 20 paper yard bags per collection day instead of 10. Individual bags must not exceed 50 pounds. Residents are also encouraged to use compost carts for fall leaves. Single-family residential properties can get one free 64 or 96-gallon compost cart by contacting customer service. Pickup is free, or a cart can be delivered for $59. Additional carts are available for a fee. The Ann Arbor Compost Facility will also accept unlimited leaf drop-offs from residents or their landscapers through December 15th for the fall 2023 season. The facility is normally open weekdays, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. To drop off, visitors must use the automated scale, which includes weighing in and out. Leaves from property outside the City of Ann Arbor do not qualify for this free service. There are options outside of paper yard bags and compost carts to make use of leaves, branches, and other material from your yard. For instance, use a mulching mower to feed grass clippings and leaves back into your lawn. Use mulched leaves to cover flower beds in winter, or create a compost pile. Finally, as a reminder, putting leaves in the street is not acceptable. Visit a2gov.org/compost for more information. Thank you.
Christina Morales Hemenway is forging her own path to Hollywood with the company Dancing Star Productions. Christina has been busy creating original, thought-provoking, and often humorous full-length feature films. Her latest installment, Get Real, is a fish out of water tale about a very LA couple transported to the Midwest. Joining me is Christina Morales Hemenway, writer, director, and producer of Get Real. Welcome to the show, Christina.
Thank you so much for having me.
Before we get in, represent, right?
Yep.
Before we get into the new film, let's talk a little bit about you. Tell us about your background and what led you to making feature films.
I think when I was little, I really wanted to be an actress. And I think it was because when I would watch movies, I would look up there and say, oh, wow, like I want to do that too. But I kind of thought that the people that I was watching were doing those things. So I graduated. So I, grew up here. And then when I was in Ann Arbor, and then when I was 18, went out to LA, and I was finally like doing it, and I was living my dream. So I thought, but I realized I didn't like it as much as the writing and directing part of it, because I thought those actors were making all of that happen. And they're not. And so that's when I started getting into the writing and directing and that part of it. I went to CalArts, and then upon graduating, just announced to everyone I knew that I was going to be doing a feature film, and they could come on board if they wanted.
That's amazing. You just have always been someone to follow your dreams.
Yeah. I've been very lucky in that I've had very supportive parents. My mom did say, Mom, I want to go out to Hollywood. You could be my agent. She's like, no, you will have a childhood. So she said, when you're 18, you could do whatever you want. But before that time, they were always very supportive of the plays that I was in, or I would make little like neighborhood circuses, or, I was always, my dad called me the project girl.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Tell me about your production company, how it was started, and sort of how it's been going.
Okay. Yes, I'm very excited about the new developments with it. So it started out when I first graduated from CalArts. So it's called Dancing Star Productions. There's a quote from Nishi, one must have chaos in oneself to give birth to a dancing star. So I decided to use that as the production company name. It's been since 1992. And then recently we have started an offshoot, which is Dancing Star Creative Academy. Because in making mistakes and trial and error, I learned how you can do it all on your own. Now, that being said, of course, a movie takes many, many people. So I'm never doing that on my own. But what I mean is outside of the studio system. So I figured out every place that I got to know an alternate way of doing it. So with Dancing Star Creative Academy, you can come in as a student and then start working on a production, and then become a producer and start distributing your own content. So it's a holistic way of being a part of the entertainment business. And for me, the films that I make, as long as they're, enlightening, entertaining, and uplifting, that's essential for me. I don't want to go to a movie and feel bummed afterwards. I don't need to pay to feel bummed. I can turn on the news if I need to feel bummed. So, that's and we're looking to do one movie a year. This will be our 5th feature film, Get Real. And yeah, that's the goal, is to do one a year.
I like that you mentioned for the Creative Academy that you're teaching like this holistic way of the entertainment industry, because I feel like that is the path of the entertainment industry where it's going with YouTube and stuff, where these people are really wearing all the hats.
Mm-hmm.
So you're really teaching them what they need to know, where when you started, you were like, I want to be an actress. But then you were like, I actually want to be way more than an actress.
Right. And that's part of the academy is, so there are like 6 online courses that you take first. And then when you're actually on a production, it's usually a 28-day production. And every day you are shadowing a different position. So one day you might be learning about sound, and the next day you might be learning about makeup. So you're actually on the set, you're feeling the culture, the vibe of being in production, having a hands-on experience and getting to experience all the different things. Because when you become that director producer, in a way, it's like being a conductor. A conductor doesn't just move their hands. They have to know all of the instruments that are being played in order to really give themselves to that. So, this is a way for people to work up to having their own productions.
Talk about, you mentioned you've done about 5 feature films so far. Tell us a little bit about a couple of those feature films before we get into the new one that's about to be screening soon.
Sure, absolutely. So the very first one will never be seen because that was the one that I was like, okay, everybody come, and we did do it like for nothing. But then afterwards, I made a huge mistake. I was working for a temp company out in LA. I was temping for a film entertainment company out in LA. They said, oh, we just heard that you wrote, directed, starred, did the soundtrack on your own film. I said, yeah. And they said, we'd love to see it. I said, great. As soon as, it was back in the day. So it was like, it's on Betacam.
Sure, yeah.
It's like I had a huge master that was like this big, right? And I said, so as soon as I get a copy, I'll send it to you. And they said, no, don't worry about it. We have a insured courier service, and we'll have it back to you this afternoon. Never saw it again.
So it's just gone.
Gone. Yeah, totally gone. So that was a huge lesson. And then after that, the gates closed, and I couldn't, I was a temp, so I had access to those people during that time. And then when I was trying to get back my film, they wouldn't answer my calls. The gates closed, and I could never get it back. So that was a horrible experience, but still got to do it and know that I could do it. So that was Autumn Leaves. Then the next one was Dreammaker. Dreammaker is about this psychic that is manipulating all of her Hollywood clients. It's a dramedy, we call it, and it's kind of about my experiences out in LA. Naked Angel we shot in Ann Arbor. James Duvall came in, and that's about a man who is struggling just to live, and he falls for his guardian angel and is inspired to live again. So that's a mystic drama. And then Bride Plus One, which I happened to star in, but I didn't mean to. I wrote it with this other girlfriend in mind, and she was doing her PhD, and she was just like, I'm sorry, like 2 months before, she said, I'm sorry, I can't do it. So I'm like, okay, well, that acting training, I hope, comes in handy. So I was in front of the camera and then behind the camera, in front of the camera. That one, Bride Plus One, is about I play a 39-year-old Latina who has never been married and really wants kids. So she decides that she's just gonna throw herself her own wedding. and a la if you build it, he will come, that the groom will show up somehow if she gets the flowers and the place and all of that.
Yeah.
So it's a romantic comedy.
Well, let's get into Get Real, which you're going to be having a screening for pretty soon at the State Theater.
Yes. So we're doing like a fundraiser, just 100-seat kind of pre-screening, November 10th at 7:30 at the State Theater. And then the beginning of January, we'll have the big premiere at the Michigan, 1,400-seat theater and all that. So
Give us a little synopsis of Get Real and sort of your inspiration behind it. Because it sort of reminds me, when I was watching the trailer, it sort of reminded me of like The Wedding Singer or something, which is like one of Adam Sandler's like best. I love that movie. So it sort of reminded me of that sort of like, going back in time.
Yeah. Okay, so Get Real. Well, the full title is Tommy Hollywood and Katie Encino moved to the Midwest to get real. So the inspiration behind it is when the father of my children and I moved back here. So I grew up in Ann Arbor, and then I was out in LA for like 20 years, and then I moved back. So each of those times there's a culture shock. And each of those times I kind of felt like a fish out of water. And so I feel like I've lived in each of them long enough to make fun of each of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just taking a humorous look at, from the other side of the pond, what that pond looks like. And it was an amazing process. I got to hire fantastic actors, and they just took it up a whole other level. And I'm so excited about them and it, because I feel like they're going to become huge stars after this.
How do you find your actors? Are they from LA? Are you getting them from Michigan? Is it a mix?
So a mix. Our lead actress is from Los Angeles, and I met her through Cal Arts. And then our lead actor is from New York. And I went to high school with him. He probably hasn't even heard this. So when I was like 17, he was in my very first short film when I was at Community, called Soul Possession. And it was a little short, and he was just getting into acting. So he was good, but nowhere near what he is now. And so when he sent me his audition tape, honestly, I wasn't expecting too much, but I was blown away at the amount of wealth that he's brought of character, that he's grown so much as an actor in that time. And so it's really interesting that now, he and I both graduated from Pioneer in 1988. And so we're having this reunion with the Pioneer people, and the characters are kind of stuck in 1988. So the film actually takes place in 2004, but the characters are still in 1988.
Oh, I love that extra layer of it. That makes it even more entertaining, I feel like.
Yeah. And then something that's a kind of probably people won't notice, but each of the characters is kind of stuck in a certain decade. So the costume design for Betty was all 50s. And, another character is in the 60s. And so each one kind of has their heyday that they just stuck at.
So your goal is to get the funding to make this a nationwide release?
Yes. Yeah. So I have a couple of possibilities. AMC Independent. There's a place called Indie Seats that they had talked to me before about getting Bride Plus One a national release. And then that little thing called COVID happened, and we weren't able to do a theatrical release, but it is still on all the platforms. So yeah.
Yeah, so this is actually like, it's almost like you've been waiting to have this happen for you, to have a big theater release. People are getting back into those theater seats again. And I think I can attest that I've missed it. I've missed going to the theater.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we did have the Man's Chinese Grauman for Bride Plus One. We got to do the Hollywood
Oh, that's
premiere,
amazing. Yeah.
which was wonderful. And quick aside, that was really a dream, because when I was about 8 years old, I was out there and I put my hands in John Wayne's prints out there, and I made a wish that one day I would have a film premiere there, and it happened. So that was pretty darn cool.
Wow. And my dad would be jealous that you got to have your hands in John Wayne.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the cement, but I'm sure he touched it at one point.
Oh,
so
he touched it.
I don't know if your dad's alive, but like, if he could touch my hands, I touched his hands.
Yeah, he's still here.
Yeah. Happy to touch his hands then.
Well, before we go, why should people come to the screening and support this film and your production company? You're doing such amazing things, and you're bringing things to this area, filmmaking things that a lot of people would love to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just all about people living their passion, living their dreams. And so why should they support it? If there are people who have, already created their wealth, then, pass it on. Just allow other people to have opportunities. And then, I try to make everything tiered so that if you maybe don't have, like as an example, so this is $35 to come in for a ticket, which is a high price for a movie ticket, but that you're supporting, this endeavor. And then the 1,400 seat theater one is probably going to be more like $12 a ticket. So I want everyone to be able to participate at the level that they can participate. Did I answer your question?
Yeah,
I don't know.
yes, you did.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show, and I wish you the best of luck with this film getting a nationwide release. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I really appreciate you reaching out to do this, because really that is what it takes, is just word of mouth and just spreading it and sharing, things that you like. So I hope you like the movie.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
For more on this and other programs, visit a2gov.org/CTN. Visit youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor to see all that we have to offer. And remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time to FYI.